One of the biggest questions I get asked is, Andy, how do I start the transition? And in this video, I'm going to be telling you exactly how you can do that, because a lot of players will want to start with rotation, start with lateral, start with the arms. It can become a really confusing area of the golf swing. Now, you all do a different backswing. So there will be elements of this video you may need to adapt for your own personal swing. And if you need help with your own personal swing, jump into the bio below and you'll see a link to my Skillist profile where I'll give you a free swing analysis. And if you want to take coaching on from there, you are more than welcome to join my stable of golfers who are all doing really well worldwide. The transition needs to be determined by kind of what type of golf shot you're expecting to play. So whether you want to hit a draw, whether you want to try and hit a fade. Also where your golf swing has ended in the backswing. So if you ended up with quite a steep hands at the top, or do you get quite deep at the top of the backswing? Those two positions are going to need a slightly different transition. So I can only do this video based on someone that swings it relatively neutral, because then that gives you the blueprint and the idea of how you want to try and maneuver your body to start the downswing. So presuming you've got to the top of the backswing and you are relatively neutral, and by relatively neutral we mean top of the swing here, the butt of the club is pretty much down in line with your trail ankle. We've got a 45 degrees hip turn and about a 90 degree shoulder rotation. That's a relatively, well, that is a bang on neutral position, but let's see where you are relative to that. How do you start the downswing? So from this top of the backswing, I always want to start from the ground up. We want to move pressure. We want to move pressure from the inside of this trail leg and this trail hip, where your body weight will predominantly be at the top of the backswing. And we want to shift it down towards the outside of your left foot. Now, I don't want to go with my shoulders. I want you to go with your lower body. So I want you to try and feel that if your head is directly over the golf ball, which it would be, so from this position, your head's directly over the golf ball. I want your head to stay there as your lower body shifts into that lead side. As the lower body shifts into that lead side, what you will notice, and this is completely natural for every single player, is your upper body will naturally start to open up. So you'll have seen tips in the past that say, oh, keep your back to target as you start your transition. And that's a really, really good tip for those of you that need to get the club a little bit more on the inside. It doesn't naturally happen, but it's a great feel. So once you get to the top of the backswing, we're going to just try and feel that the weight shifts towards the lead side. Now, as I do that, watch my shoulders. I'm not even trying to open them up, but from this position, my shoulders are at 90 degrees, or my back's towards the target. As I shift my weight towards the lead side, my shoulders naturally open up. They naturally start to come back down and come back towards the start position, okay? So this is a physiological, completely natural movement, okay? This is not me manipulating my body in any way, shape or form. So from that top of the backswing, as I shift the lower body into the lead side, my arms start to work back down, okay? Again, it's not me pulling my arms down, that is me moving my body weight correctly. If you use the ground correctly, the upper body will follow more naturally. So this is a really nice way to feel it. From the top of the swing, hips are naturally pointing to the right of target, and you're going to stay there while you shift the weight. So again, we're not going to start the swing and the downswing with turn, because what actually happens here, when I get to the top of the swing, my weight's here, it's in my trail hip. If I just turn into the downswing, my weight's still on the inside of this right foot. It's not moved. All I've done is turned. As I've turned, my shoulders will go in this direction, which gets the club on the outside, and that's where you get into a little bit of trouble. So you're going to try and feel that your hips stay close to target as you shift that lead hip over the lead foot. The arms will naturally start to come back down as the shoulders start to unload. And then from here, we will create that rotation through. So whilst we always put emphasis on rotation, which is correct, we've got to sequence the golf swing in the correct order. We're always going to start the downswing from the ground up, okay? You're going to feel like you're not making any adjustments or manipulations through the arms, through the shoulders. It's just going to be keeping your upper body centered over the golf ball as you shift the body weight into that lead side. Now my hips are back to square to the ball, again, completely naturally through weight shift. My shoulders have naturally unraveled. The golf club is bang on plane, and I can rotate perfectly through that position. Now, recently, I've been sent a training aid, which I think is also going to help you. Introducing the TRS Slider. It's designed by English golfer Robert Rock. And I'll be honest with you, at first, I wasn't really feeling it. However, the more I've used it with students, the more I've started to enjoy it. But more importantly, the more I've started to see results. So I use this a lot with some of my online students. If any of those are watching right now, they'll 100% recognize this, because this is helping them stay a little bit more connected in the golf swing. And what I mentioned before about the transitional move, just kind of spinning, as a lot of players want to create turn from the top of the backswing, which kind of catapults the arms out and away from the body. And in doing so, creates a huge disconnection. So what we're going to do, tighten this up, must have lost a bit of weight over the weekend. Right, so once you've got this around your chest, you're then going to pop this around the bicep. Get it right in there, there we are, beautiful. Right, so what you'll see is I can move, so it's not holding me into position completely, but what it will do is it'll stop me getting disconnected. So if I get to the top of the backswing and I just spin, as much as I probably can still do this, it's going to stop me from getting disconnected. It's going to tell me that we're in a pretty, we'll go back, Andy, we're in a pretty bad position here. So if I get to the top of the swing, get that nice depth behind my body. Now from here, if I shift the body weight, it helps me stay nice and connected. It's going to help me create a really consistent impact position every single time. This is something a lot of players struggle with. Players that struggle with distance as well, struggle with disconnection, struggle with slice, will get this right elbow a long way away from the body. As you can see, as it's set up, it's keeping me tucked. It's allowing me to get to the top of the backswing still. Okay, so it's not restricting me. On the downswing, how do we start the downswing? We're going to start with the lower body shifting into that lead side. So lower body shifts, and it helps me stay connected through my right arm as well. On that one, I maybe flipped it over a little bit too extreme with my hands, but that's a me problem. But what this allowed me to do is just create connection, focus primarily on my lower body there. To get to the top, focus on just the lower body, because I know that my arms are already nicely connected, and it's a really nice way of just feeling the transition starting from the ground up and the upper body following. If you want a little bit more information on the TRS Slider, it's actually on my website. If you go to andycartergolf.com, there is a pro shop page. You can get a bit of discount, but more importantly, you can learn a little bit more about this as well. But I think for you guys wanting to improve your transition, understanding exactly what you need to do is first and foremost. Training aids like this are also really important as well. If you've got any questions, please let me know. But if you want those free videos from my website, the link is also down in the description below. You're going to get grip, posture, general setup, and you can also head over to the short game page for some free videos as well that are not here on YouTube. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.